Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. Again, another ride out, getting lots in this week. So we're going up to my fiance's house to pick up some bits that she's ordered for Christmas, and they've gone to the wrong address, so we need to go pick them. Well, I say we need to go pick them up. I've been given the task of going to pick them up, so we will head over there now and get the stuff. It's a nice ride out though, so it's a good half an hour each way from where I live, so it's a good decent ride. I do hope today that my microphone's working as well, because yesterday on the way back from that ride, the return leg didn't record any sound. Well, it recorded sound, it just didn't record my voice. The microphone disconnected. So hopefully today that has been fixed and you'll be able to hear me, otherwise I'm just talking to myself. And what sort of crazy person talks to themselves? They say that's the first sign of madness. It's certainly a little more windy today, and it's definitely not as warm as it has been. I mean, it hasn't been warm, but you know, last couple of days it was quite mild. Today it feels a bit chillier. So my poor old legs are going to know about it, because they didn't put any thermals on today, apart from the thermal lining in my jacket. Just coming past Ellsborough Golf Club, or golf course, or whatever you want to call it. I think the next video that I'm going to make is going to be my top 5 things that I love about the Royal Enfield Meteor 350. Which is going to be easy because there's lots of them. Well, I say easy, it's going to be hard because there's lots of them, so I've got to find the top 5 to choose from. Try not to look at the views and the nice countryside too much, because of as many of you know, where you look on a bike is where you go on a bike. Just love the low end torque on this, which is really nice when you're on a hill. So a lot of people ask me, why would I go for a Meteor 350 as my first bike? My answer to that is mainly because of my health issues. So I have problems with my legs. I make no thing trying to hide that I have problems with my legs. I find it hard to walk, etc. So because of that, I didn't want anything stupidly heavy. I know this isn't the lightest bike ever, but it's not stupidly heavy. It's light enough for me to handle. I find if you just go over the, you know, like the 220 mark on a bike, it becomes a little bit too heavy for me to sort of handle too much. And I love the cruiser style. Always have done. So my first bike was a Lexmoto 125 years ago, back in 2012. Well, actually my first bike was a moped, but I don't count that one. Back when I was 16 at school, it was pretty pants. It only went 28 miles an hour. My second bike, as soon as I was 17 on a CBT, I went and got my first 125. Which was a Lexmoto Arizona 125. It was alright, but again, nothing special. It was a decent little bike for a while, but I ended up having a lot of issues with it. Not engine wise, the engine seemed to be good, but the electronics were pants, and you know, I got caught out in the rain and it messed the electronics up. The lights would disconnect, the ignition would disconnect, so it was just a bit pants. Got rid of that, and I ended up with a Honda Rebel 125, which was a 99 model, so back from 1999, and I absolutely loved it. It was about 13 years old when I bought it, 14 years old when I bought it, and I had that for a good few years. Just absolutely loved it, and that was really where my love of cruisers came in, because I just absolutely adored that little bike. From that day on, I always wanted to get a Harley. And unfortunately, I had to give up riding for quite a while because of my health. But last year, my brother-in-law, he bought a Kawasaki 125, little Ninja. He said, "Do you want to have a little go up and down the road on it?" So I did. And yeah, that was it. It kick-started the love of bikes again. I mean, I never lost it, but certainly sort of lost the confidence to get on one because of my health. From then I went and bought a Lexmoto ZSB 125, which was an absolutely cracking little bike. I absolutely loved that one. Lexmoto have definitely come a long way since the days of the Arizona that I had, and this one was just brilliant. Smashing little bike. I did decide finally to go for my full license. I'd done it before, so a few years back I'd done the mod 1 and was awaiting my mod 2, and I passed the mod 1, and then I was really ill, so I ended up in hospital, and they said that there was no way that I was going to make the mod 2, so I had to cancel it. Luckily, down at On Your Bike at the time, they were absolutely fantastic. So this is On Your Bike just outside Wadston in Aylesbury, and they were absolutely fantastic. They gave me a full refund and totally understood my predicament, which I was really thankful for, because of I thought I was going to lose all of my money, having not been able to complete my license and training. But no, they gave me a refund, which was really good of them. So from that point on, I gave up. So I'm talking, that must have been about 5 years ago. I gave up. I stopped riding bikes. It put me in a spin. It was just like, well, I'm never going to be able to get my full license because I'm just too ill, blah blah blah. But fast forward to this year, I gained a bit of motivation to do it, so I put in for the license, and thankfully only just over a month ago now I passed my mod 1 and my mod 2 first time, and gained my full A license here in the UK. So I was absolutely over the moon with that. I'd already had the Meteor on order because I thought I'd pass either first time or, you know, close to, so I thought it wouldn't be too bad if I didn't pass. I could just do it again, and then I should be alright. If anything was going to get the better of me, it was going to be my nerves. But yeah, so I passed. So really happy with that. Got my full license, like I say, just over a month now. I passed my mod 2 on the 11th of November. So as of today, it's the 15th of December, so yeah, just over a month. And absolutely loving having my full license. To be fair, it's just nice to get rid of the L plates. Like, I have nothing against anyone that is riding on L plates. You know, we've all been there. But it just feels so nice knowing that I don't have to do another CBT. I don't have to, you know, put up with other drivers on the road basically bullying you, because one issue we do have here in the UK is that a lot of drivers, especially car drivers, will look down on you straight away because you're on on a bike that's got learner plates, they think, oh, you're not going to be able to go fast, you can't do this, can't do that, and they act dangerously because of it. So they will overtake in a dangerous situation. They will, I'm not saying everyone does that, but I'm saying I've had it plenty of times. People just pull out on you. I mean, you get that anyway, but like even more so when you're on L plates. So I was so thankful when I finally got rid of them. And I must say, since having my full license, I've had next to no issues with people acting stupid. So no stupid overtakes, no dangerously close up my backside, tailgaters, nothing like that. So it definitely does make a difference, and it just goes to show you that there's a stigma in this country with regard to learner drivers, learner riders, which there shouldn't be. So I'd also like to share with you a little bit of personal information. So you've probably heard me say a few times now that I've got a lot of health conditions and I'm not a very well person, which is absolutely true. I am a type 1 diabetic, which, you know, shouldn't count too much because there's lots of other diabetics out there. But on top of that, I have many other health conditions that contend with the diabetes, which also make life a living hell. So unfortunately, I have problems with my legs in regard to the diabetes. Makes my diabetes control worse because I get so much pain all the time. It causes my levels to fluctuate uncontrollably. And I know there'll be people out there going, well, yeah, I control my diabetes well enough, blah 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 blah. And like, I totally get that. I try my absolute hardest, and you know, the last couple of years have been the best I've ever controlled my diabetes. So I have the Libra sensor, which is in my arm, and that has definitely helped with regard to the control of my blood glucose. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that all my other conditions create a massive complication because of I'm always in pain. Like even now I'm in a lot of pain. I just push on. Basically, I'm on really strong painkillers, really strong, you know, tablets that keep me going, basically. And on days where they actually work, on days where my pain's a little bit less than usual, it does allow me to do things like today where I'm on the bike. But a lot of the time, unfortunately, I am bedridden or I can't move. There are a lot of days where I can barely even move. I can't even barely talk sometimes because I'm in so much agony. You know, it's difficult for me to really speak about because obviously it's a very personal thing. But one thing I'd like to do with this channel is help other people with the stigma. Just slow down and be cautious of the horse back there. Reduce the stigma surrounding disability because a lot of them are hidden, and I don't think people fully understand the impact certain disabilities have on people. I mean, I know a lot of people will understand, but maybe not to the fullest extent. And that's one thing I'd like to do with this vlog, is just help other people understand a little bit more about disabilities and how they can affect people. As I was saying before, there are a lot of days where I am extremely ill and I cannot move. I'm bedridden. I can't eat on those days either. I am literally living on soups and stuff that I can swallow quite easily, and you know, I don't have to chew through blah blah blah. People also say, well, if you're that bad, why are you on a motorcycle? And my answer to that is You know, you've got to have something in life to love and enjoy. And my thing is motorbikes. I've always been into them. My family, a lot of my family are bikers, so it's always been there, you know. So yeah, alright, it's basically having some common sense. On days where I really don't feel well, do not go nowhere near the bike. Yeah. On days where I you know, obviously on days where I'm bedridden, on days where I can barely move, I'm not going to go nowhere near the bike because I can't get out of bed. But it's just having that bit of common sense. Think to yourself, am I up to it today? I mean, like I say, I'm on very strong painkillers, so they do help to an extent. Not always. They don't always do the job, and they don't always, you know, keep me at a level that is manageable. But I'm happy to say, you know, there are a few days where I do feel a little better, and it's on those days where I try and enjoy what I can while I can, before I end up back in that situation where I'm stuck in bed, or I'm so ill I can't move, or, you know. So it's just having a bit of common sense, really. I'm in a flat surface, I'll put both my feet down. I know you shouldn't, but just because of my issues I do. But, you know, where I can, I adopt the safety position. But yeah, so a lot of the days I'm very nauseous, I feel sick, I am sick quite often. I spent most of my childhood in hospital, literally half of my teenage years in hospital, and unfortunately quite a lot of my adult life in hospital. Back and forth, doctor's appointments, things like that. I'm a 26-year-old. I walk around with a limp because of my leg problems. I have a gait in my walk as well, which doesn't help. It makes me look, you know, to me, as a 26-year-old, it's just very embarrassing to look at yourself and see yourself in that situation. I know I can't help it, but that makes me extremely anxious too. But these are just some of the things that I have to go through. Is just like the absolute excruciating pain on a daily basis, where I'm on 1,000,001 pills just to keep me going, is insane. Because if you shook me, I'd rattle. I want to try and bring a little bit of recognition to people who have hidden disabilities that might not always be on the surface. So yeah, anyhow, we'll stop talking about that for now. We'll just enjoy a bit of riding. I'm nearly at my destination where I needed to get to. This is Stoke Church. Been here before in my videos, but obviously it was probably before I had a mic. Right, so I've just picked up the parcels that I needed to pick up for my partner, so I'm just heading back now. Another 30-minute ride. Sort of debating which way to go. I might take a different route home, actually, just for the fun of riding. Yeah, I just absolutely love riding the Meteor, so we'll take a different route back, and I hope you can hear me still, because of I've got my visor open. I did see some police activity a minute ago up this road when I rode past first time at the other end of it. It looks like they pulled someone over, so someone's obviously been naughty, probably speeding. So So I've just taken the bike up to 60 miles an hour, and it does feel very comfortable at 60. So and it's definitely got more to give. So all those doubters out there going, oh, it can't keep up with motorway speeds, or it can't do this, it can't do that, it's fine. Little place I remember from the Missing and Flies video, Chris's Cafe, where he does his outings with Jeff and Dan, Biker Scram. I've not been in there myself, even though I've ridden and driven past it 1,000,001 times. Maybe one day. Who knows? I always enjoy coming through this sort of like tunnel, this little valley of trees either side with the autumnal colours. Looks very pretty. Although it's usually better when you're not stuck behind a line of traffic that's queuing behind the bus. The weather is rubbish. But the roads are nice and dry, very grippy, so, and it looks like saltless, so that's good. Up there is the Golden Boar. I don't know if you can see from the action camera, but that's quite a big local landmark. It's on top of a church, which itself is on top of a cave network called the Hellfire Caves, which were used a long time ago with some very authoritative people in the UK. I'm talking a couple of 100 years ago. Prime ministers and politicians and other people with prominent status would get up to lots of naughty things, or so the story goes. Just coming through West Wickham, lovely little village this is. Always love coming through here. It's just oldie woldy England, isn't it? And unfortunately the other side of West Wickham is Wickham, High Wickham, which I don't really recommend. Nothing wrong with High Wickham, it's just I just don't like it there really. Always find it way too busy. Traffic's always bad. Just 1,000,001 people in the shopping centre. Just things like that. It just doesn't appeal to me. For Christmas I've actually got a quad lock, which has been recommended to me many a time. Lots of people recommend it for your phone. I mean, I know this bike has its built-in sat-nav, the Tripper, which I've had no issues with. It's actually really good. Very useful, handy piece of kit that is built onto the bike, so it's great. I was thinking of times where my phone might be running out of battery, etc, and this bike also has a USB port, so I can plug my phone in and charge it. The only issue is I don't want a wire going from my handlebars to my jacket or anything like that. So in that sort of scenario, I would much rather prefer to have the phone mounted to the handlebars and the wire going from here, like where my instrument cluster is on my switch gear, to just down on the handlebar, which makes it one, much neater, and two, less of a hazard, I think, because of you've not got yourself tethered to the bike in some weird way. Saunderton, my cousin lives here somewhere. Hello Jason, if you're watching. Just really love riding through the countryside. This is a slightly more busy road than most I usually ride, but it's still an enjoyable ride. The wind is certainly more prominent today than it has been in the past few days. I shall definitely be ordering those earplugs that ER recommended to me, or when I have some spare cash. Hello Mr. Biker, just coming through Prince Ezra's now. Another nice little place, got a lot of family that live here too. So I recently found the Itchy Boots channel, where Norali rides a Himalayan from India all the way to Malaysia, and then brings it all the way back through the Middle East to Europe. I'm only halfway through the first season at the moment, but absolutely loving it. It's a brilliant series, so I'd recommend that to everyone. Anyone who just likes adventure, really. It's extremely good. And the episodes are not extremely long, so you can have a little watch and then come back to it later. 2 days in a row I've got stopped at these traffic lights. Damn and blast. Area is just stunning, like visually, even in this horrible weather where it's all overcast and grey. The countryside is still beautiful. We're in an area called the Chilterns. Tratter. Don't know why every time I drive past a tractor that song comes in my head. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cat and Joe. even though it's got nothing to do with tractoring. So, beats me. Alright, just coming back into Wendover now. I say coming back in, we are just across the border into Wendover. My hometown. And yes, it is a town, it's a market town, even though everyone calls it a village. People that have lived here for years always call it a village, up the village. But yeah, technically it's a market town because we have a market every Thursday. Right then, folks, it's home time for me, I'm afraid. So that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. So if you did, please give me a thumbs up, a comment if you will, and please subscribe. Thanks very much. Cheers.